mistakes.
No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. Here is the truth, while they make that excuse. I'll be up grinding, cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor, like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke.
All right, Thrive Nation, we have got an action-packed segment here for you. We're talking today about the big abyss that separates you from doing what you know you need to do. So I am going to pick on myself here first so that everybody can kind of see how not to do it, okay? When I first started DJ Connection, I knew that if I made 100 outbound calls when I started DJConnection.com, that I would book 2 appointments typically. And if I booked 2 appointments, I would typically get 1 deal. So, Steve, what I would do, Steve Currington with Total Ending Concepts, Steve, this is what I would do. I would make about 3 calls.
Right.
And then I would go to the bathroom.
Right.
Right. So we get 3 calls out. I mean, Dr. Sibley, I would do like 3 consecutive calls. I mean, 1, 2. Now I'd come back from the bathroom, wash my hands really thoroughly, though. I mean, really, I'm talking like
the fingernails,
really like I'm a doctor. Okay.
Like
now
you're
I
about to go into surgery.
Right. Now I sit down, and I'm in my condo. I remember. I mean, it's just like it was yesterday. And I remember what it was like to be a loser. It was just unbelievable. So then I pick up the phone and I make like a call. And then it goes to voicemail, and I'm going, God, I need to work on my logo. My logo's the issue. Right. So I'm not kidding. So I'd go back to that logo. I'd work on that logo and bevel that logo. And then like a bird or something would like fly by the window, and it'd hit the window. And I'm like, the freaking bird, I can't work under these conditions, that bird. Freaking bird.
Jeez.
So then my wife would come home after working at Office Depot. Now she had to walk to work. We had 1 car. Profusely sweating after working the entire day at Office Depot because she'd walked home, and she'd say, "So did you close anything?" And I'm like, got a lot of lines in the water.
Hot leads.
A lot of hot leads. Got a lot of stuff I'm working on.
Talk to a guy.
Got a lot of stuff I'm right on the edge.
Precipice.
Right on the verge.
Yeah.
And she would say, "Oh, okay." Well, eventually, she came home one day. She said, "Hey, babe, I'm going to head off to go work out, and then I'll come back or something." And she, forgot something. So she comes back in, and she walks in on me doing nothing. She's like, "What are you doing? I thought you were making calls." I'm like,
I'm in between calls.
I was making... What, Lorraine?
I just got out of the restroom.
wrapping
I was making calls.
I'm wrapping presents. Go away.
And she was like, I have stood behind you for at least a half hour, and I've watched you do nothing. And I was just curious if that's what you're doing all the time, because it seems illogical to me if you don't do anything that anything could happen. If you do nothing, it's unlikely that something is going to happen.
You're mentally punching yourself in the face.
Right.
Doing nothing.
So Napoleon Hill, I got this book called Outwitting the Devil.
I love that book.
That book helped me a lot. Get the book, open the book, and
read the book.
He says, "What I'm doing, Clay, is Clay, you're drifting." I said, "What, Napoleon Hill? Are you talking to me?"
Straight to me.
It's weird how I'm reading the book, and I feel like he's writing the book about me.
Yeah. Oh, and that's how you know it's a good message.
He's talking about the habit of drifting, and he says the majority of people begin to drift as soon as they meet with opposition, and not 1 out of 10,000 people keep trying after they fail 2 or 3 times. And I'm going, that's me. But Napoleon Hill studied people and realized most people will quit the first time they run into adversity. So I'm going to start with you, Steve Currington, with Total Ending Concepts, the mortgage wizard of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Colorado Springs, Missouri, various other places. And then I want to go to Dr. Sibley. Then I want to go to Eric Chupp. The same idea. Drifting. Steve, how do you fight drifting? How do you make cold calls? How do you get it done? How have you built Total Ending Concepts when so many people get their mortgage license, get their mortgage banker's license, and then they never get deals done? They just never actually get any traction.
Well, we put a lot of systems in place to prevent, even if someone does drift. We had a drifter about a week ago that was drifting for about 2 weeks, and now they don't work there anymore. So
they just drifted away?
No, because we just have a lot of metrics where we measure stuff. We hold people accountable. So we know how many calls they make a day. We know how many calls they're supposed to make a day. They have a daily goal on calls, appointments, live transfers. All of that stuff's in there, so we know what they need to do.
Are you saying that you keep people from drifting and have discipline by having a scoreboard?
Yeah.
That you can reference? That's a scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you haven't listened to that book, Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil.
Put it on the show notes, Chubb. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
If you get the audio version, when it's like a conversation with the devil, so it's actually kind of powerful because it'll flip over to the devil talking,
like,
and
oh
it's like a deep cryptic voice.
Now, just so you a little context before I get Dr. Sibley's take on this, Napoleon Hill believes that the devil is here to kill and destroy. And the devil wants you to not be successful. The devil wants you to not be successful. He believes that God wants you to be successful. So he believes whenever you decide not to do something that you know you need to do and you begin drifting, that is the devil's way of tricking you, of manipulating you, and getting you to become a pathetic loser who ends up living in a van down by the river. So, Dr. Sibley, talk to me. How do you fight the habit of drifting? How have you been able to do that as a chiropractor in Tulsa successfully for the last 20-something years?
Well, you have to have a mindset. And mine is faith, confidence, and belief in my products, service, and ideas.
So you have a mindset that says, I'm just going to knock it out. I'm just going to do it.
That's right. There's no excuses.
Chup, I want to really just hammer this home here. How have you learned to fight the habit of procrastination? And has it ever been a struggle for you procrastinating?
Oh, if my father was here to talk to you, Clay. That was his biggest issue with me growing up was, hey, I'll get to it. Yeah, no worries. I'll put it on there. I'll get to it. And growing up and turning a little older and getting a little more wise, I realized we talked about this earlier today. We were recording a podcast. Like something always comes up. Something always happens.
Something always comes up.
And it always puts off what you were going to do. And so that thing just pushes farther and farther and farther away. So that's what helped me really stop doing the old procrastination game, was realizing that some crap is going to break. Somebody's going to have an emergency. There's going to be a burning fire that's going to stop me from doing what I was going to do. So I might as well touch it once and get it done right now.
I want to get Marshall Morris on your mic there for a second.
Get over here,
because
Marshall.
Morris is very good.
I'm only 6 feet tall.
Marshall Morris is very good at this, and he and I have the same psychological problem that we share, and we share the same exact psychological problem, and it really freaks people out, but it's really good for business. And so I want to get Marshall's take on this. Marshall, make sure you watch out for that lamp there, my friend. So this is what you do, Marshall. This is what's crazy. If you ask me, you say, Clay, what do I need to do? We've known each other, worked together for 9 years, okay? So Marshall will say, what do I need to do? And I'll tell Marshall what to do. And with no emotion, very much a Tim Duncan-esque mindset, this stoic look in your eye, this quiet resolve, you'll just go, okay. And then you'll go do it.
Weird.
The big fundamental.
You actually will say, okay, what do you want me to do? And then I'll say, do this. And you'll say, okay. And then you do it. But when you've had to manage people and you say, go do it, they won't do it.
This is what blows my mind. This is
go for it.
And so the big thing is to understand that even though you don't have to be micromanaged, and even though you don't have to be told multiple times, and even though you tell somebody to, or somebody tells you to do something and you just do it, that doesn't mean everybody else is that way.
Yes.
And that broke my brain, and it was so hard for me to wrap my mind around that. But you literally have to have a manager there just riding every single one of your team members. So
all the time.
I was working with a client earlier this week, and he was working through and trying to decide what to do with a particular employee. And he said, I am paying this person so much money every single month. You would think that he would just do his job.
No, it's about pride and not about money. And the kind of person that doesn't have any pride in their job cannot be successful. And I'll tell you this. There's a company out there we work with there that has a lot of pride in what they do. They take a lot of pride in what they do, Chup. These guys, they make sure that our urinals on Monday morning, Chup, could be substituted as a drinking fountain. They're so clean. They're maniacally clean. They
Super
are
clean.
almost eerily clean. They're so clean, it's almost offensive.
They're
Chup.
almost classically clean.
Chup, do tell.
Oh, because we use Classic Janitorial, guys. You can get a hold of them at theclassicclean.com, theclassicclean.com, or call them at 918-671-2046. If you're a new customer, they're actually going to...
Did you say if you are a nude customer?
Yeah. Yes, that's the preferred.
Yeah. That is weird.
That's what their ad says.
That's how we were born, Clay.
Chup, that's
Nude customers, click here.
No.
It's on their website.
So let's say it this way. If you haven't used them before and you want to use them now, they're going to clean your high-traffic flooring areas for free. Most other companies charge an extra $1,000 on top of your fee, and they're going to do it for free for new customers customers. Tell them Thrivetime Show sent you. 918-671-2046, theclassicclean.com.
Now, Thrive Nation, we come back from the break. During this next segment, we're going to have kind of a bromantic.
We're going to slow it down.
We're going to slow it down. We're going to talk about focusing on your core tasks until success. Focus. Focusing on your core tasks until success.
We're going to teach you how to say no.
I'm going to take a nap.
And you're going to produce so many wins. It's going to be sexy.
Oh.
And confidence is very sexy.
That's exciting.
Break it down.
It's going to be like an Old Spice commercial. You'll be walking around town feeling so confident, looking so swagalicious.
You're on a horse with your shirt off.
Feeling so sexy.
Yeah.
Because confidence is a reward you get
That's right.
for getting stuff done.
Oh, that's right.
You might unbutton a few buttons, show that chest hair like you just don't care.
4 or 5 of them.
It's all about sexiness.
Gold chains.
Stay tuned.